This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ, or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Hello and welcome to Sunny Side Up Family Talks, a podcast that's going to be one that we hope you're going to find very interesting because it's designed to help families start, spark, and continue conversations. Of course, my name is Brother Robert DePaulis. I'm here in Tampa, Florida, but I'm not here alone because I'm joined by three very lovely hosts. But before we join them, I'd like to go ahead and have our international greetings because we are an international program. So I'd like to toss this over to one of the newest team members who's Sunny Side Up, Sister Liza. Good morning.
Good morning from Florida. Yes, it's sunny side up. Beautiful morning to everyone po and hello to our viewers from Philippines. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Salamat po for tuning in. Today, we have a very interesting topic to talk about and I'm truly excited for this. But before that, here with us po, our brethren with full of emotion, full of joy, our beautiful co-host from Orlando, Florida, Sister Joy.
Oh, thank you so much for that introduction, Sister Eliza. Yes, I am. I am full. I'm full of joy, and my name is the emotion itself. And I hope that today you are also filled with joy. But you know what? I have to say, I think you will be, because today's topic that we'll be discussing today, which I'm really excited about, is something to deeply reflect on, right? And we're definitely going to find joy in that reflection. So I'm really looking forward to this, Sister Liza, and again, also Brother Robert. But before we dive into conversation, let's go back to the West Coast of the sunny side up, the sunniest location on the globe, right? Let's go over here to the West Coast, and we're going to go and fly over and see Sister Audrey.
Hello. Thank you for such a smooth transition, Sister Joy. Sister Audrey Tapalas here, coming to you from Tampa, Florida, or the Tampa Bay area. And yes, just like what was mentioned, we have a very interesting topic today to not quite close out the year, but we're getting to it. We're on our last stretch before the last few days of 2025. So we want you to drop down in the comments below, join us in conversation, because we want to hear your thoughts and hear your experiences, because you've been right there right along with us throughout the journey of 2025, and maybe even seeing where this year took you from the previous year or the years before that. So we'd love to hear from you. Let us know where you're from and share your experiences with us and what you hope to accomplish in the new year as we continue on with our closing out of the year 2025. So I'd like to toss it over to Brother Robert, my neighbor in the north of Tampa, not too far from me.
All right. Yeah. You know what? In the first thing that I've actually got to acknowledge is the fact, and I think all of us will agree, 2025, for whatever reason, just flew by. I think I still remember our first show in January of this year. And it was, of course, when we had that freeze. You guys remember how cold it was at the beginning of the year?
Yes.
We actually were down in the 30s, I think, at one point in January, February, and in fact did a show on what happens when parts of Florida, like up there in north in Jacksonville and Pensacola, they were snowed in this year. They actually
that is something to reflect on. Was that this year?
Right?
That was the top of this year. And if you look, because I was looking at the weather this week, just to see what to anticipate, it is so hot. It's going to be so warm this week.
Wow,
Well,
and
the thing that just, I'll ask you guys, because this is a perfect part of kind of today's topic, which is, of course, closing the chapter on 2025, which I still can't believe that we're even saying that. But we're going to talk about what lessons it is that we're going to carry on or carry forward into the new year, because I think, Sister Joy, as we were talking about earlier, a new year isn't necessarily, it's a restart, right? It's not necessarily starting fresh. It's really important for us to have reflection. But when you get to be my age, reflection becomes more difficult because your memory begins to fade. So that's why I write things down. But for the younger folks like Sister Liza, who's joining us here as a new member of the crew, um, what what this year do you remember, like, that it happened earlier this year, but you can't believe that it was this year because it seems so long ago, because this year just flew by? Do you have any memories from like the beginning part of this year, like in January? Do you remember what you guys did in January that was memorable?
Oh yes. January, after 7 years of being married, but that was the first time that brother Edu and I took a trip by ourselves without kids.
Without the kids?
After 7 years of being married. Yes,
Did
Congratulations.
I did
Wow.
it. There's no mom guilt.
did
There's
did
no
they
mom
did they
guilt
know that
there.
you were going on vacation, or did you guys just pack your bags and leave?
It's kind of long convincing Naomi, especially Naomi, like we're going on a trip because since then we're always going together po. So this that was the first time po that we left the kids. So I'm glad, very thankful to my sister-in-law, Ate Lolet. Thank you so much for taking care of the kids. And that was a time that there was no mom guilt at all. Like sometimes we have to do this because even eating in a restaurant, it's hard to leave the kids. I'm like the type of mom who's, how's the kids? Do you think they took a shower already? Are they already in bed? Something like that.
Are you
But
texting the are you texting your Ate Lolet when you're sitting at dinner,
yes,
asking her what she's doing? Okay. Well,
yes. But
it,
that was before. But I made sure that trip po, it was just between me and brother Edu. So we just do the catch up with the kids once we're in the hotel. But when once we're out, that's the time that we just focus on ourselves,
we
reflect.
even forgot we had
"Hmm,
kids, right? We don't even.
yeah,
Oh, we have kids. Well, so I'm going to ask this then, because you talked about how that was a time, the first trip that you took with not having any mom guilt, which I know
yeah,
that's a big deal, because
it is.
I'm going to ask our newest mom. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
ask our newest mom on the panel here, our newest mom, and soon to be mom of two, Sister Audrey. Um, where are you at in that stage of, like, the mom guilt thing, if you go on a vacation or a trip or even just out to dinner with RJ? Are you going through kind of that
Drowning.
separation anxiety thing?
Drowning in mom guilt. I can't tell you. It comes before the event, leading up to the event, during, afterwards. Even when I have my baby on me, I still feel guilty. Yeah, no, it's but this is a season where I have things that are pulling in different directions for me. So it's not just like one thing. It's managing working full time, going to school part time, um, and you know being active with church activities. Thankfully, that's the time that we're all together, so I can look up, I can always look forward to that. But it's when I'm performing my duty and I have to give him to someone else, or to ask the kids now, because he's a little older, to look out for him and kind of step away and see if like everyone is okay. So the drowning in guilt, I'm staying afloat right now.
You're just floating. Well, and you know what? Watching him, you start to become, and Joy, we talked about this before, where when
Mhm.
you are a kid that grows up with parents who are officers and you're at church all the time, and it just becomes a part of the routine, and the handing off your child to other people to have them take care of them while you're practicing being an organist, while you're singing in the choir, while you're performing your duty, that's a challenge, right? But you did it. You did it with three kids.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because that mom guilt is so real. It is
Mhm.
so real. But I will tell you, for all of you new moms or moms to be, it's so worth it when you do spend that time still committing to those values, like spending time with your husband, performing your duty, especially in the church. I am now seeing like the product of all that, like the just the blessings that are coming because of that. Because, spending time with our spouse while we're like, okay, well, we have other priorities, it's really, really important, because our children see that. And then it's important that we also value our marriages too, right? We carve out that time. But like when it comes to like, Sister Audrey, you're an organist, I'm an organist too. I remember how hard it was. I had three of them. I don't even remember their ages, but I would take all three of my children with me, and it's just us. And then they would hang out in a nursery, and then I would practice the organ. And, a practice is not like a few minutes, it's
Oh no. Yeah, you're there for several hours. And I have to, so how old were you? Because I'm having trouble navigating my body, my one individual human carrying our second with my 16-month-old to even conceive going by ourselves. God, that blows my mind that you had three tiny humans with you as one parent.
It's as I reflect, because this is about reflection, it was really a challenging time, but I am so thankful for things like a stroller, things for like a car seat, like those stationary things where you can just stick your baby in. And I'm just thankful for those little things. I mean, it sounds nice, right? And then when you walk in after you're done practicing or you're checking in, you're like, oh my goodness, this place looks like a disaster. But I'm telling you, it's worth it, because for now, I mean, I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful that my kids, they look forward to going to the chapel. They look forward to things like that. And, while we're still a young family, they look forward to things like that, because it was something that was part of their upbringing, even as youth members, as little babies too. And I remember that when I first became a mom, that's what my parents did too. So like that was just something that was kind of passed on, without thinking about it, because that's just the natural rhythm of our life. And we do that. And that's something that we hold true to our values. But you do it, and then even though it's hard, your body's telling you one thing, you're like, oh, this is, push through it, you'll do it. And most of all, we have that conversation with our mighty God, right? Through prayer, we just do it. We go through it, and it's so worth it. It is so worth going through that challenge, that hard, season, because I'm gonna tell you guys, I miss it. I'm relishing, the season that I'm in and what we're going through now. But I look back on it and go, oh my. And you know what? That also helps me reflect. I think there was a moment where I was, during that season, I think I met up with your dad for some organ things, Sister Audrey. And I think I showed up in two different shoes. He called me out, and I did not even notice it. I think they were completely different shoes. So that's
That
just kind of,
you know what? That is just such a Cod James thing to do. It's he sees you wearing two different shoes.
I'm sorry, that's what the focus was instead of congratulating you for
The
coming out of the house.
monumental effort that it took to bring three kids to choir to practice, right?
you know
Yeah.
what's funny? No apologies needed, because he didn't call me out in that way. The only I will always remember this, because I was wearing two different shoes. He goes, parenting is a wave. There are ups and downs. That's how he said
Yeah.
it. And I take that with me. I really do. I mean, he probably doesn't even realize it, doesn't even know, doesn't
Oh.
remember. But that was like a moment like where I was having mom guilt. We had a rough morning because I was
But
wearing two different shoes.
that's because he was also a father of 3 under 3, and then still 3 and under. So he went through those seasons too.
Yeah.
So you went
But
through
you do worry about
so
that.
so now, Liza, you're at a stage where you have Noah, who's 3 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
then you have Naomi, who's 7, right?
Yes, po.
Actually, I'm just so proud of myself that I got the kids' ages right this time.
Yes.
But you're going through that exact phase with them now, because they're at the age where when they're babies, right? When Jamie was just a little baby that was in a stroller, not much decision making on his part, right? He just went wherever he got pushed.
Yes.
Um, Now, Naomi and Noah both kind of, I'm gathering, they're forming opinions. They know what they
Mhm.
want, they know what they don't like. How is that this year, especially with them? Because, with your responsibilities at church, being a district booklet officer, traveling to Cocoa Beach or to Orlando because you have to be at a performance or something. How has that this year been for you with the kids?
The transition was easy, not because I did it by myself. The transition was easy because of the help that I get from my family and also from
Mm,
the church officers. I remember I made an arrangement to the head deacon who's making the performance list or the duty, which is I was so happy because I was able to perform po while not neglecting my son because Noah was very young age that time. So I'm gonna have them assign me to where I can take care of him. But if those times po that I am needed inside, I'm glad for the brethren that who took over, and I'm very thankful to them po. I really appreciate the help. And like this time po, it's easier because they can understand. They understand the calling of our duty. Like we just have to tell them we have to leave you for now because we have to travel. We're going, but most of the time we're traveling with the kids. They can see what we're doing, and what's nice about it is they are involved too. They're
right,
very involved,
right.
which is I at their very young age, they understand the duty. They understand the things that they needed to do as a family, and that it's our duty. They understand that.
That's I think that's what I think is the important point we want to drive home, is
Mhm.
that because you have them involved and they see what it is that you're doing, that you're not just going on off on another vacation with dad, right?
Yes.
You're actually performing a duty. They get to witness that, and
Okay.
having them be there and having them experience it with you, I think it becomes part of their DNA as they grow up, right? I mean, and that's true. All of us are officers, right? So
Mm-hmm.
having kids who literally grow up in the chapel or on the chapel grounds or at a church event, that exposure to that activity helps to develop sort of that DNA in them that this is just the norm. This is how we spend our Saturdays. This is how we spend our
100%.
Thursdays, right? And that's what helps them as they grow older, when they're more independent, to make easily those same choices. And I say that because I can see that for myself with our oldest daughter, right? She's the one consciously sometimes having to remind us, well, we have to be here, we have to be there, when we're trying to make schedules or plans that may conflict with it. As much as I like to say I'm very proud of that, I'm also sort of not proud of the fact that I'm not the one thinking of it. But that's a part of growing up in the church. And I think, Sister Liza, it's exactly the point, is having the kids exposed to that. And this is an important year. That's why I was asking you, because, at that age of 3 and 7 years old, this is when their minds and their habits are beginning to form. So this is when we want them to be exposed to that.
It's
Um,
a crucial stage for the kids.
it is.
These are the age po that they can understand, and you will see the difference when they're not involved and when they are involved. They understand. Once they are involved, they understand po that, oh, my parents need to leave me because they need to do something. They understand, like, for example po, if you have a meeting, Papa, why it's Tuesday, why are you not going? I said, no, I'm going, I'm just eating. Like you said, they're gonna remind.
You know what? That is such a great point. And, these are key lessons, right? Not just for
Mm-hmm.
us and that we're sharing with all of you. These are key lessons that we've taken away and that we've learned just, by holding down on these values that, having patience through these really hard times. You push forward and we can see, just the blessings that come out from that, from pushing on that, and just staying true to that. And that you bring up another point too. I mean, we communicate. So we're not just going to blindly, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. This is the itinerary. We have to follow it no matter what, but explaining and communicating. These are our values, the importance of what we're doing. This is why we're doing it, right? Is just it's so key. And I think that's something that we can all reflect on, right? That we've learned not only this year, but that throughout as we're navigating this journey of parenthood, right? And our families, managing our households. Definitely something I think that we all can continue to learn from, right? And grow.
Right. Well, and I think that's why the word reflection is such an important part, because these experiences that we're talking about right now, what Audrey was talking about when she was asking, like, how did you do it with three kids, and your ability to go back and reflect and understand, this is how we did it, or Sister Liza, you saying that it was the help that you got, not just from obviously your family, but all the help and the support that you got from the brethren and the other officers. Reflection is such an important part, because that means that you just didn't let it happen, and then didn't even realize it, just passively. You actually understood what happened, and you're reflecting on it, and there's lessons that are learned. We're sharing that, obviously, with those that are watching us, because the struggles that each of us talked about, the challenges that you are all sharing right now, are challenges that I am sure are shared by other people, whether it's challenges with being an officer in the church, or it's just a challenge of being a new mom, period. Sister Audrey, you're going through not just being a new mom, but you're going through pregnancy all over again. And so this year, as part of reflection, when you talk about, what you're reflecting on, it's you're looking at this period of going through the 9 months, right? When because what the babies do, like, I don't know, in the next 15 minutes or something,
The longest,
in like 30
no,
minutes.
not the longest 9 months. It's been the longest 4 weeks. Because surely, I mean, when you're distracted by an infant transitioning into toddlerhood while managing the other priorities, I mean, it's like, oh, I almost forgot I was pregnant. and then, and then it's like you hit that last month in the third trimester, and it's every week has felt exponentially longer than the previous 8 months. It's just patiently, but not so patiently, waiting for baby boy to arrive. So yeah, and no wonder there is biologically a 2 year not grace period, but time period where a woman's body truly fully recovers after delivering a child. I mean, 2 years for you
Is
just
it
to
two
get back.
years? I feel like I'm still recovering, and that's like
I was about to contest that fact, because my youngest is 21, and I still haven't fully recovered. My body is still going through it. I eat the baby
as the
fat.
guy who
Can't do
did
anything
not
about it.
birth.
The
Um Says the other half who did not go through a dinner plate sized wound in your body. But I mean, it's crazy to think. I mean, this is a whole nother topic on its own, but it's like you're not just physically recovering, which everyone sees,
Mhm.
um, nor just emotionally recovering. You're also like the hormones of it is a whole nother challenge, because it's like you get into your mental space of, is it me? Am I the problem? Or is it the situation? And then things come into play. But I think that's why, to all the moms who've done it before, you are truly the superheroes, because you've paved the way for moms like me who can learn from your experiences, and also, like, with technology nowadays, to research and to look things up at a drop of a hat without needing to leave the house and go to the library to look it up, is a whole nother development in itself. So it's been a year of not just the challenges, but it's building resilience to all of that. And I think the biggest thing I've taken away is choosing grace over perfection. And that's the hardest thing for me to to figure out, because you want to do, especially when you have a stubborn personality like myself, you want to do things right the first time because you've engaged and planned for it, but it's learning to celebrate the small wins, and that slow progress is still progress.
That's a great perspective, I think, Starter, because one of the things that we wanted to talk about as well is when we talk about going forward into the new year, there's obviously lessons that are learned. You're going to carry those forward, and there are things that you also might not necessarily want to take forward, that things you might want to leave behind, right? Whether it's that guilt or habits or a mindset that you feel wasn't important to carry forward. Because one of the key points to also bring up is that leaving things behind, when we talk about our sort of our emotional and mental space, allows you to have space for new things in the future. Because we've all heard that analogy about we're a jar and you can only fill a jar with so many marbles or so many rocks or so many bits of sand, right? You guys have all heard that analogy where the more of the little things that are in that jar is taking up space for the bigger things, the more important things like family and church duties and things that are important to you. So maybe leaving those little things, the sand granules behind, the little nit things that are taking up space, if you will, I think are an important part of what we need to really focus on, and that's part of reflection. Right, we're obviously reflecting on a lot of the great things that happened this year. We've reflected on things that were important to us. I think it's also important for us to do some self-reflection too about, what are some of the bad habits maybe that we don't want to take into the next year with us, because they do take up that space that could be room for bigger things, more important things for us. But one of the things I also wanted to do is I know, Sister Audrey, we talked about a challenge that we want to throw out to our audience, that we'd like to give them as a way, an exercise, right?
Yes, yes. So if you haven't already shared your experiences, because we want to hear your what your story, because we know that everyone's experiences are unique. So please share them down in the comments below, and then just let us know where you're shouting out from. But yes, we want to pose a challenge, a family reflection challenge. Um, we would like for you to share one favorite memory, one lesson learned, and one thing you're excited for the new year, because we know that each of those bullets could be boulders in themselves. So get your children involved, especially if you're a parent. Let this be a family hour activity, because we forget, we're so caught up in the present. We may forget what their perspective has been on the other side, as the ones that are just um what is it, as crew members, because we're the ones steering the ship, right? So hear from our kids, and ask them from their perspective of their favorite memory, their lessons learned, and what they're looking forward to. And just emphasize that this is supposed to be a conversation with the family, and it's supposed to bring all of us together as a unit, as one household. And it's not meant to be, again, it's something I have to tell myself, it's not meant to be a perfect conversation or like a full rundown and game plan of the next year, but it's just to get a temperature check of where everyone's at in your family. And I think that will set us up for success in the new year. So let us know in the next show, when we talk more in closing out in the year. We would love to hear if you started it already, or if you're starting to plan for it. Let us know, and drop your experiences down in the comments below.
Great. And of course, we want to obviously reiterate that it may not be perfect, right? Because we aren't striving for perfection, we're striving for progress, right? We want to make progress. And part of that is being able to do this reflection. So we, as the crew, the team here, are going to start by examples. So Sister Audrey, I'm going to put you back on the spot here. Can you
Oh,
give
I wasn't ready.
yeah, I gave you 30
That's
seconds.
not fair.
I gave you 30 seconds, favorite memory this year?
Oh, mm, oh, actually, um, sharing the news with my husband that we're pregnant again.
Oh boy,
That was
I'm not sure how much of a memory that is for him. We'll see where that goes. And
I'm sure the shock, he probably doesn't even remember the moment, but and that tickles me every time I feel in the depths of pregnancy pains. That brings me back to the surface.
what are you excited for next year?
Next year, I am excited, looking forward to closer to the finishing of nursing school, but more than that, getting to see what life is like with two under two in this next season, and getting to navigate that with my superhero husband.
Awesome, awesome. All right, we're gonna do this really quick in like bullet fashion. Sister Liza, what about you? What favorite memory? I think you told us it was being on vacation, right, with you and Brother Edu this year.
Yes, I have top three. So, like the first one mentioned, first trip without kids.
Yeah,
Second one po, I was able to go home in the Philippines this June, and I was able to see Brother Edu's grandpa,
yeah.
who just recently passed away po. I am so glad that my kids were able to see their great grandpa at 102 years age. Yes, I am very happy that we were able to see him. And the third one po, I am very happy to be part of the Sunny Side Up. And I
Oh,
didn't expect this. I was just a guest, So I didn't expect it. I was so happy. Thank you so
oh,
much po.
that's okay. We
Yeah.
can end the show there. That's probably the best. No, we got to go to Sister Joy. Sister Joy, what about you? What's your favorite memory this year, and what are you excited for next year?
I have several favorite memories, but one of the most that stands out is our choir special gathering. That was
Oh, in
that
the one
is
in
just
Dallas. Yeah.
yes, near and dear my heart. So really excited, really, really, really near and dear my heart. And then looking forward to and excited for next year is just taking all the lessons that I've learned, personally, um, and otherwise, just growing from that. So looking forward to that.
That's fantastic. Okay, and before we close things out, because we are the fastest 30 minutes on radio, I'm going to share mine. Mine. I think mine's pretty easy. My favorite memory this year is every moment that I've got to spend with my grandson. Every day that I was able to spend with him, every walk we've taken, every time I get to feed him. Maybe not so much changing his diaper, but all of that culminates probably my favorite memories. And then what's going to be going into next year for me, I think it's just going to be an open book. I'm just excited to see what the next phase in life is for me, with two grandchildren, moving on to a new career, another step into closer to retirement for me. So that's going to be something I look forward to as well. So just really, really excited for all of the activities that we've got coming up next year, because pretty soon things are going to be changing, as we know. That will be coming up in a future episode. We can't talk about it now, but we'll talk about that here in a future episode. But we are super, super happy that we were able to share this with you. Please join us again next week, because we have a special episode where we're going to have some guests joining us from the land down under, for a special episode of Sunny Side Up Family Talks, to talk about a very important topic that I think everyone should be paying very close attention to. And we're excited to be able to share that with you here on air. So for now, this is Brother Robert Tabalas here in Tampa, Florida, for Sister Joy there in Orlando, Sister Audrey, who also happens to be here in Tampa. And what do you know? Sister Liza, also here in Tampa, Florida as well. We're just going to need to get Sister Joy to move down here, and we'll just have the studio here full time. But thank you again for watching. Please stay tuned, because coming up next is going to be INCRadio Washington, D.C. with their Unstoppable program. But we're so happy that you joined us. Take care. Have a great day.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Our parents are the very first people